Welcome to the Elite Producer Podcast. Here, you'll find unfiltered, unapologetic perspective and training for the final expense life insurance industry. Coming to you from the great state of Texas, your host and president of Equita Final Expense Services, Chase Urich.
Hi, Chase Urich with another episode of the Elite Producer Podcast. This is episode number 4. A little bit change in format today as we're going really coming to you guys with a solo message. Normally we have guests. We like to mix it up. You're going to notice that we will have some individual messages for you guys where it's just me here with you. And we'll also still have some tremendous guests as we continue to move along here and churn out content for you. But today I wanted to bring you guys a message that has been kind of near and dear and really come to me over the past few weeks as I've been interacting with some of our top producers and really some of our new and emerging producers. As a company, we've had a tremendous amount of growth come through over the past few weeks. And really, as we've inched into 2021, and as we look at ending quarter one of this year, we've seen some amazing things take place. We've had some producers who were really on fire closing out last year, ending that year strong, and coming into this year and picking up right where they left off. We also have seen some new producers, some who had no experience in the industry whatsoever, or some who were with other organizations, just really never found their stride, really take off and find some tremendous success. I'm talking 20, 30,000 a month in production. One of our new producers who had no experience whatsoever went out, did a blitz week, and had over $34,000 in production put up in 1 week. And that's very, very exciting. And so today I want to talk to you guys as I've been having dialogue with them, our leadership, and overall as an organization, information, notes, not an epiphany or anything like that, but just information that's kind of been cultivated throughout conversations organically. I want to bring you guys a message today on something that's been near and dear to me. In conversations with some of our top producers, I've found that public influence is something that is even more prevalent nowadays than it has been, just due to access with social media and in public forums and things like that. I want to talk about, who you are and where you're headed and how you allow and who you allow to influence you. I want to talk about, really becoming obsessed with your business a bit. And I want to get mechanical to some extent with that particular topic, because I do believe it's important. If you want to be successful in this industry, you need to become obsessed with your business. And I want to talk about, being humble enough to accept help and ask for help when it's offered and when it's needed. So those 3 particular topics we're going to dive into today on episode 4. And to start it off, just the EFES Nation has been unbelievable. I've seen some tremendous things, as I alluded to in the introduction here, take place over the past 3 months as we've really jumped into quarter one of 2021. It's been a lot of fun to see, as I mentioned, new producers jump in, but seeing some of those grizzled veterans really in a humble manner, really a thankless manner, just help other people. And that's one of the really one of the big benefits of EFES Nation is it's a conglomerate. It's an all boats rise mentality that you hear talked about. Come together and help each other, even when it doesn't technically benefit them right now. It's one of those pay it forward type things, because it's true community. It's a tribe here, which is really, really cool to see. And one of the things that we've been talking about, and I've heard touched on over the past few weeks, is, I saw this online, or I heard about this, or I heard about that. This person said this person said that. We teach and we talk about here at EFES to follow the leaders. And you always want to be able to emulate a system and a style that is proven to be successful. You want to be able to, if you have a recipe for a great dish or for a great barbecue or something like that, why deviate? But you do want to put your own little sprinkle, your own little ingredient in there to maybe differentiate it, and that's okay. But there's no reason for someone to compare themselves to someone else. That is a huge success for failure that we've seen, is when somebody puts too much stock. Well, I'm not like him. I'm trying to be like him, but you're not like him. Or her. You want to be yourself. You want to be unique, because you are the best you out there. So you want to be able to take tips and tricks, sales techniques, implement them into what you do, but you don't have to be somebody else to be successful. And I want that to hopefully resonate with somebody out there. You want to learn the tricks of the trade. You want to learn the basic fundamentals of our business. Those basic fundamentals will be a foundation for your success moving forward. But just because, so-and-so does it this way, it doesn't mean that you're a failure because you don't do it exactly like them or you don't sound like them. You want to aspire to be as proficient and as productive as somebody else, but you're not that person. You need to be the best you that you can be. So understand and just learn that you want to take and soak in the basic fundamentals of the business. It's the substance, not the look or the appearance of the person that makes you successful. The basic fundamentals and the substance and the teachings are what you want to be able to soak in. And also understand that, one of our builders and one of our leaders had talked about this earlier this week, and I think it's powerful. You want to be careful with your influencers. Your influencers in this industry, you want to make sure that it's somebody who has that high moral ground that you have, or the basic fundamentals in terms of core beliefs that you have. You don't want to have someone that you believe in or push in, and you can really kind of identify with or emulate if that person isn't somebody who has those same core values and core beliefs that you do. There's nothing more heartbreaking than to emulate a style and take bits and pieces and learn from someone that is maybe just not somebody that is maybe the best person from an integrity standpoint. And that's one of the things that one of our leaders had talked about was, understanding that, some of the people that you see from a publicity standpoint, they may not be the best individuals because you don't know them. They may have been terminated for cause at insurance companies. They may have, some Department of Insurance, items on their background that they're having to deal with. Urging you to deal with your mentors, urging you to be someone who latches onto that mentor and that leader that you've been brought in with. That's somebody who is hopefully a high character individual. And I can say for our builders, they truly are here at EFES. They're high character people. They're people who put their clients first. They put the producers they work with first. And those are the people you want to lean on, not somebody you don't know that you heard about or seen through social media. And this is an attack on any particular individual or social media platform. It's just, you want to make sure that the people you're aligning yourselves with are people who are ethical. They have high moral standards and their integrity, high integrity people as well. So, people aren't always who they appear to be through social media. As one of our builders mentioned, it's a more polished version. You don't see them day to day. You don't see them do business because you don't know them. Find a good culture, find a good leader, and plug into that. And mentioning the culture side of things, I alluded to EFES Nation just a moment ago. I'm so proud of what EFES Nation has become. It's unbelievable. EFES Nation is, as I alluded to earlier, thankless individuals who are just doing things at an extremely high level and helping other people with their knowledge and their experiences, maybe helping them alleviate some heartache or just hardships from some of those pitfalls, those perils, those obstacles that they had to overcome in the past. That is a tremendous resource. It's also a lot of fun to be a part of. The EFES Nation is probably one of my most fun items. I don't know how you want to articulate it, but really it's just such a pleasure to be a part of because you get to see so many amazing people come together. And in a business that is typically an individual, you're all on your own, except for the occasional rah-rah meeting, you're typically on your own. And typically your best friend is an empty passenger seat, as you've heard us talk about, sitting next to you. Not with the EFES Nation. You're able to plug into a culture. So if you're hearing this and you're not with EFES, this isn't a cry for you to come work with EFES. It's just find a culture, find a system, and find a great group of people to be able to plug into. And I hope that your organization has that because it can make a difference in your day-to-day. In terms of accepting help when it's offered and knowing how to ask for it when you need it is a big topic that I also wanted to kind of briefly touch on with everybody. Too often I've seen in this industry, almost 14 years now, of some really amazing people fail out or struggle because pride got in the way. They didn't want to ask for help. They didn't want to look like a dummy for asking for help, when in all actuality, you're not a dummy for asking for help. Really good mentors will make it be known that my door is always open, but you don't have to necessarily take that leap of faith to come inside of the door, as Simon Sinek says. They may not know that, the door is open, but they may not have the courage to come in and ask. So good leaders will check in. Good leaders will ask you, hey, how are you? How can I help you today? Is there anything that you need? Those basic leadership type things. But you as a producer, if you're listening to this and you hear this, I urge you to don't be afraid. Don't let ego get in the way, and don't feel like you're going to be considered somebody who's inadequate, not good enough, or dumb or unintelligent because you don't ask for help. Or if you do ask for help, make sure that you're somebody who throws ego to the side. They check the ego at the door and understand that I want to make this my profession. I want to make this my business, and I want to make my business successful. And to do that, I'm going to have to ask for help every once in a while. If somebody who is within your organization, somebody who is achieving at a high level, they're successful, you've seen their production, you know how good they are. If they offer you help, there's no reason to turn it down. Accept that. It's only going to make you better. We've got some really amazing people, as I mentioned, the EFES Nation, that just will ask, hey, do you mind if you touched on this on the conference call, or you touched on this on the podcast, and they'll ask in the group chat, or they'll ask on a call, hey, I just want to expand upon that a little bit. It was a great topic, or it was a great comment. Do you mind expanding on that just a little bit? I want to get a peek inside your mind. Asking for help, asking for assistance will help your business. It is something, particularly in our industry, where if you have the resources available, it's underutilized a lot of times. But if you have the resources, utilize them. Ask those questions. Ask those producers for help and assistance. And I know for us, it's a lot of fun to see. We all learn something a lot of times, things that we've taken for granted. If you've been around it a long time, it may be something that, you forgot about or you haven't seen come up in a while. It's great to see those revisited. And for a new producer, it's just really checking the ego at the door. Accept help when it's offered and ask for it when it's needed, so that you're not someone who finds himself kind of floundering or maybe even kind of dying out of the business. The next one that I want to talk about, this last bullet point, is I want you to become obsessed with your business. Now, this one I can pontificate and I can just rattle off on for quite some time. As I mentioned before, there's been some amazing people in our industry, amazing people who have come in, hard workers, they're willing to learn, but the work ethic or the amount of time and attention they put into their business just wasn't there. The best in our business, I believe, are obsessed with their business. That doesn't mean that they don't take care of their families. It doesn't mean that they neglect everything else and they have no personal life. But hobbies, special things that they do, they still do those. But in their spare time, they do put a lot of time and focus into their business. Hobbies are a lot of fun, and you definitely want to have hobbies. I think for mental clarity purposes and for mental health purposes, you want to be able to have some other interests that you're into. But if you want to grow a business, particularly in the first few years, you need to eat, sleep, and breathe your business. If you're new to final expense, if you're new to life insurance, if you're new to Medicare, if you're new to annuities, whatever it is, you need to be a student. And you need to get that degree, whether it's an associate's at 2 years or go ahead and get your bachelor's in it for 4 years. Spend the time, take the time, and invest the time that it takes to be successful and become a specialist in that area. There are some amazing people in our organization and outside of our organization who it didn't happen overnight. And that's the one thing you got to understand is this accumulation of knowledge will not happen over time. But what will happen is as you sink your teeth into it, you invest the time, you're going to look back and say, wow, 6 months has really flown by. And you're going to be really blown away at the amount of knowledge that you've accumulated. So I can't talk to you enough about spending the time. And a couple of key points in terms of investing your time and your energy into your business is, number one, who is your business? If somebody finds you today, is it just a name on a business card? Are you repping your IMO's logo, name, and brand? That's okay. I urge everybody in our organization to work on building their own brand. You can utilize the EFES logo. You can put it on your business cards. You can use that by all means. But at the same time, you want to build your own brand. You want to be the ambassador of your brand. And the example that I typically give of that is when someone shows up at your house and they want to be your pest control person. They say, hey, look, I want to be the guy that kills all of the bugs for you and make sure that your family is safe and secure. No rats, no mice, no pests, no problems. If they show up and they get out of their car, number one, the car is a beater. There's no identifying on who the company is. The guy gets out, girl gets out, shirts, has no identifying logo. They're just kind of disheveled looking. That person, to me, I'm immediately going to look up and I'm going to find, okay, who is this? What is the company name? What are they all about? I need to know those things. I'm going to do my due diligence. If you're going to earn my business, I want to do my due diligence and see that you are somebody who's reputable to earn my business. Now, compare that to the Orkin man who shows up, knocks on the door, says hello. I see the Orkin logo on the shirt. I see the Orkin logo on the hat. The truck has the sticker on it. I'm not saying you need the sticker on your car or anything like that, but representation and branding. If I look up Orkin, I can find a reputable number of reviews on that particular company. And so what is your brand? What do people see when they find you? That's a big thing for me. It's a big thing that we talk about and we teach on. You don't have to pour a ton of money, a ton of resources into this. Find a starting point. What is the name of your company? What is your mission statement? What are you guys about? And what is your visibility in the marketplace? Build your brand today. It doesn't have to be done overnight. It doesn't have to be done today, but start to conceptualize, what do you want your brand to be? Who do you want to be recognized as? What kind of business do you want to be viewed as? And then when you go about and you're ready to put your visibility out there, how are you going to go about it? Is it Facebook? Is it a website? Is it a business card? Do you start with just local branding on your business card? How do you go about it? We teach that, and we really work on that here internally. So if you're external, you don't work with EFES right now, we urge you, get familiar with that, learn more about it, because it can be a pivotal part of your business. Also, the part of just simply how often is your open sign on for your business? For those that get into this industry, we find that, man, I really want to make this work. I really want to be successful. I want to earn six figures. I want to do this. I want to do that. Great. How often and how frequent are you willing to have your open sign on? And when I say open sign, if you metaphorically had a storefront and your hours of operation are all contingent upon how that open sign is on or off, how often is your open sign on? How often are you going to be open for business? And particularly for your first couple of years in the industry, in this business, you really need to, you can't emulate somebody who's already doing it at a high level and has been for a few years now and emulate their hours. You can't just take that blueprint, because you have so much to learn. You have so much to work on and perfect. You have to do it at a little bit more, frenetic pace. You've got to be a little bit more wide open with how you're doing it. So if you know somebody who's successful like we do here, somebody who's doing it at a high level, writing 20, 30 plus thousand a month, and they do it for 3 days a week, they're out there grinding 3 days a week, and maybe they have an office day as the fourth. That doesn't mean that you can. With the amount of knowledge and the amount of experience that you need to gain, you're probably going to need to go 5 days a week and have an office day as the sixth. Maybe that's you. Some people are able to emulate that, some aren't. But to give yourself a best fighting chance, the question I always ask is, how much time are you willing to invest? If we're going to do an income calculation or projection or a goal setting session, we will need to figure out, how much time are you looking to put in? How many leads are you willing to buy? What is your activity level? And one of the big things that we preach here is attitude and activity. It's one of the most common topics that you hear talked about in terms of teaching a successful producer in sales is attitude and activity. Well, the activity part needs to be on point just as much as the attitude. You need places to go, people to see. And once again, how often is your open sign on? How often are you open for business? That's going to also help you out in terms of hitting those goals that you set for yourself. And the other thing that I'm going to reach on just touch on with you guys real quick is, and this is some common basic stuff, but you would be amazed at how often it is neglected and forgotten about, which is follow a proven system. There are a lot of people who ask questions through social media. There are a lot of people who will just go out there and say, I really want to get into the industry. What do you guys recommend? Who has the best leads? Or who is the best insurance company? Who is the best this? Who recommends that? Their heart is in the right place, I believe, when they ask those questions. My best piece of advice, and I think you'll see this posted quite a bit or shared quite a bit or mentioned quite a bit, find a system and a mentor. Find a system that's proven, even if it's not perfect. There's a lot of organizations out there. You'll hear people say, I can give you more commission, or I can do this. Those leads are too expensive. And in a lot of those situations, I won't disagree. But the bottom line is, if you fail to get started, you failed immediately. And you'll never be successful if you sit there and allow paralysis by analysis to take place. Find a system that works. Find a mentor who has been successful. Find a starting point and build from there. Too many amazing people in our industry have failed out, and they're no longer in our industry because they never got a starting point, because they overcomplicated it from the get-go. So find a system. Get on a set, consistent direct mail lead program. Or even for that matter, get on a consistent lead program. I believe direct mail is the best. And if you don't, or your mentor doesn't, and they've got a way that is proven to be successful, Follow someone who's doing it at a high level, as long as it's ethical, as long as it's the best deal for your client and you're doing the right thing for your client. Follow a system that is proven to be successful, follow that to a T, and then after you've accumulated enough time and enough data, you're able to make adjustments. But coming into the industry, if you're new to it, don't try and reinvent the wheel. There's some amazing people that I've worked with over the years who I'm actually going to have Dave DeFord on a podcast here coming up fairly soon. I've known Dave for a long time. I think the world of Dave. And I think a lot of you have probably found Dave's content online. Dave has a fantastic story. We're going to talk about that story on the podcast. Part of Dave's story is when we actually started working together, we're the same age. Dave was brand new. I won't go through the whole lineage and ruin the podcast, but at one point in his career, he said that, and you can find his blog, he talks about where he overcomplicated the lead generation process, thought he could create his own lead. And I always found that to be a powerful message because we always look to improve. There's nothing wrong with looking to improve. But if a system already works and it has for some time, follow that system, juice that system up with more activity and build off of it from there. You don't necessarily have to change the system. An individual who has come in without success does not get to change a system that's already proven to be successful. So see through some of the garbage. I don't want to say BS, but just see through some of the smoke and mirrors that's out there. If you have an opportunity, get on a direct mail lead system, a consistent weekly direct mail lead order. Why? Because it's tried and true. Are you going to pay a little bit more for the leads compared to internet leads? Yes. Internet leads are internet leads. There's some good ones out there, but at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. A $9 internet lead compared to a $30 flat direct mail lead, there's a reason there's a cost difference. And it's not just because it costs more to generate. There's a quality difference there as well. So you want to get on something that's tried and true, something that's been consistent throughout over time. And then also from your carriers. There's a lot of people who ask about, what about this company? I heard about this, I heard about that. There's nothing wrong at all with inquiring about new products. That's how you stay ahead of the curve. You're able to stay in tune with things. But I will say you don't want to overcomplicate your products either. Finding a system, part of finding a system is finding a core group of companies that allow you to go out and consistently, rep over rep, put business on the books, get paid, your clients covered, and just do that over and over. You're able to, do that rep consistently over and over. That's half the battle as well. As much as you need a consistent lead program, you want to make sure you have carriers that will come through and they'll do what they need to do each and every time. And those carriers for us, I'm not looking to shine light on anybody or not shine light on anybody, but American Amicable, Royal Neighbors of America, Prosperity, Liberty Bankers, just to name a few, those 4 companies have come through consistently. And we have found, which is why they're part of our core 4, they're able for a new agent coming in or a seasoned veteran to be a foundational piece to their product portfolio because they deliver as they say they will. The underwriting is true. The issuing, the paying, the covering of the client, it's all true. It's all consistent. Those are the types of pillars of your products that you want to have in your bag. You want to have those types of insurance companies, not one that, sometimes they do this, sometimes they take this, sometimes they issue. You don't want that. Inconsistency, you don't have time for inconsistency. So stability in your business, become obsessed with your business. Part of having stability and following a proven system is having companies that can come through consistently for you. And I urge you, if you're out there right now, you feel like you're floundering, if you feel like you're not succeeding, if you're in an LOA setup where you've put time and money in and you just realized, oh my gosh, I don't own my book of business. I'm scared. I need to make sure I get into a setup where I own my book of business. Or, man, I love Medicare. There's some amazing people in this industry. The biggest and best thing I want to tell you, and I want to close with this, is find a mentor, find a system, find a structure that will allow you to plug in and find consistency. You can always improve. You can always get a raise on your contract. You can always, do some other things down the road. Find your starting point, become consistent and become successful, and find a mentor that can help you out. If you're somebody right now floundering and you need some help with that, feel free to reach out. We'd love to help you. But this podcast and the point for us to, really put these together is, number one, to get inside of some of the unique minds in our industry. I've really enjoyed the podcast that we've done in the prior past year already, talking to Jason, talking to Cole, really getting to talk to some of these elite level producers has been extremely neat. The one that we did with Eddie Mulholland was a lot of fun. but coming back and making sure that we're finishing these on a high level and bringing more to you guys is important to me. So if you have any questions, you can reach out. We're here to help any way we can, and we'll see you guys here soon.